Trying to get in shape before summer? I'm Garrett Urisco, and coming up on WVU News, I'll tell you how downloading a fitness app on your smartphone may be the little motivation you need.
I'm Rachel Elkins, and coming up next on WVU News, I'll tell you how social media is changing the way you hear about terrorist attacks right from your phone.
I'm Madison Smith, and West Virginia is losing its residents faster than any other state. I'll tell you which industry is causing the biggest decline. Our Emmy Award-winning WVU News starts now.
West Virginia's population is declining faster than any other state in the country. I'm Brooke Chaplin.
And I'm Jordan Kramer. Social media users are finding out breaking news by just looking at their smartphones.
These stories and more on WVU News, an Emmy Award-winning newscast produced by television journalism students right here at West Virginia University.
With over 2 billion people active on social media each day, it's no surprise this is where a lot of Americans get their news.
That's right, Jordan. Reporter Rachel Elkins found out just how much of an impact social media has had on the recent terrorist attacks. Rachel?
Americans are more likely to get news on social media sites such as Twitter and Facebook than ever before. The growth in social media news consumption is consistent across all demographics, regardless of gender, age, or race. Just last year, 63% of both Facebook and Twitter users said they get breaking news on social networks. And recently, many social media users were alerted about the attacks on Brussels from their social media sites. And experts say you must learn to navigate this world of information overload.
40 people have died.
Over 32,000 people were killed in 2014 alone because of terrorist attacks. For one WVU student recently traveling abroad, she did not take the latest terrorist attacks in Brussels lightly.
It was still just concerning knowing that I was going to be out of the country and out of the United States hands, being in an unfamiliar area and government, not knowing how they can handle an attack.
April Call, Assistant Director of University Relations, explains how we can use social media to understand all this overwhelming news.
I would suggest really trying to stick with established news organizations and those sources that you've gone to in the past that you've found to be reliable.
Not only is social media allowing people to learn about terrorist attacks quicker, it lets them show support for victims as well.
Within 24 hours of the attacks on Paris, over 4.1 million people heard the news because of social media.
Though there is no way to know when or where a terrorist attack will happen, you can still be cautious when traveling abroad.
Arm yourself with information. The government has a number of travel sites that you can visit to look for alerts. You can go to the State Department website.
And don't forget that you can even get push notifications on Twitter to get news about terrorist attacks even faster. And experts say the top 3 sites for breaking news on Twitter are at BBC Breaking News, at CNN Breaking News, and the Wall Street Journal site for breaking news, WSJ Breaking News. Brooke and Jordan, back to you.
Thanks, Rachel. Brooke, the occurrence of terrorist attacks like Brussels is causing airports to crack down on security, including right here in Morgantown.
Yes, Jordan. Authorities at the Morgantown Airport have decided to increase surveillance throughout the facility. Morgantown Airport authorities have teamed up with TSA and the Morgantown Police. Now, each flight is thoroughly inspected for passenger safety. Inside the airport, authorities have also increased security measures when patrolling and screening passengers. Authorities are aiming to prevent any future tragedies from happening here at home.
Last year, West Virginia's population declined by almost 5,000 residents.
And West Virginia was one of only 2 states to have more deaths than births. The Mountain State was also one of only 7 states to see a population decrease. Reporter Madison Smith joins us now in the studio with more. Madison?
West Virginia's population is expected to decline in the tens of thousands over the next 2 decades. Experts also predict that the Mountain State is expected to lose 20,000 residents between 2010 and 2030. Since 2014, West Virginia has lost nearly 10,000 residents. Southern West Virginia has seen the greatest decline in the state, which saw 39 of its 55 counties decrease in 2015. One cause of decrease is a greater number of deaths than births in the state. Another is the declining coal industry. WVU Professor of Economics John Deskin says this decline could have long-term effects on the state's economy.
I mean, the state has lost 11,000 jobs since the beginning of 2012. When those job opportunities disappear, primarily in coal, that forces many people to go to other states to look for work.
West Virginia was one of only 7 states that saw a population decline, with only Puerto Rico having a greater percentage of population reduction. Though West Virginia's out-of-state student population continues to grow, these students are more likely to pack up and leave the state after graduation.
A lot of people come here from out of state because the tuition's a little cheaper and there are great opportunities here, but outside the university there aren't a whole lot of great opportunities to get a job and to really do anything besides get an education. West Virginia's total population of residents 65 and older is expected to rise by more than 41% by 2030. On the other hand, the working age population is expected to decline by more than 12%. But there is some good news. What a lot of people don't know is that Jefferson and Berkeley counties are expected to add more than 10,000 residents each over the next 20 years. Jordan, back to you.
Thanks, Madison, for that report. With one of the oldest populations in the country, West Virginia residents are particularly vulnerable to Alzheimer's or dementia. Reporter Jen Armstrong takes a closer look at the effects of this disease.
Senior Monongalians held a discussion about dementia for senior citizens to warn them about early signs and symptoms of the disease. Ruthie Kiliansky knows too well how dementia can devastate a family.
I just had a friend die, and she was in her late, almost 90, and then she lost total hearing too at the same time, so it was hard for me. She had no family, no husband, and I kind of took it upon myself to help, and I learned a lot from it.
Without students, there are over 30,000 people living in Morgantown. It's estimated that by the year 2025, there will be 45,000 people living in the Mountain State with Alzheimer's. That's more than the entire population of Morgantown. Clinical neuropsychologist Liv Miller says it is important to diagnose dementia as early as possible.
Sometimes we can recommend they start on a medication that can, slow down the progression a little bit. So that's important to do early on because, after the damage has already been done, we can't really undo it.
Alzheimer's disease causes a large number of nerve cells in the brain to die. This affects a person's ability to remember things, think clearly, and use good judgment. Ruthie says she will never forget how this disease devastated her best friend.
And then she lost hearing totally. She couldn't hear, and she said she'd rather die. It hasn't been about 6 months, but I guess I was the only caretaker for her. But anyhow, she's in a better place.
Doctors don't know what causes the disease, but they do know that most of the time it begins after age 60. Jen Armstrong, WVU News, Morgantown.
It is estimated that every 67 seconds, someone in America develops Alzheimer's.
Last year, 36,000 people were estimated to have Alzheimer's living in West Virginia. By 2025, there will be an estimated 25% increase of the disease in the state. Brooke, did you know that each year nearly 46 million people use fitness apps?
That's right, Jordan. And last year, Fitbits generated nearly $750 million in revenue. Garrett Urisco joins us now from Social Square with the latest in social media and pop culture news to tell us more. Garrett?
Thanks, Jordan and Brooke. Today we rely on our smartphones for everything. However, for some smartphone users, their phones are playing a new role in helping them live a healthy lifestyle. There are more than 6,000 fitness apps on the market store right now, and your smartphone can be the easiest place for you to download them and lose weight.
Well, I've been trying to lose weight for a while, so one of the big things is diet and exercise. So the calorie counting app I use tracks all of your food and then also all of your exercise, so then you can tell how many calories you're putting in and taking out.
Two of the most popular apps on your cell phone, titled Lose It and MyFitnessPal, help trace your calories while also offering a planned program to watch your steps. These apps' extensive nutritional database has over 5 million foods, which makes it convenient for users.
You really get to see what you're eating on a daily basis, and then you see at the end of the day oh, I ate really well or I ate really poorly, and then when it's choosing between a salad or going out and getting a burger, sometimes you're like, oh, this is going to screw up my calories for the day.
In just the third quarter of 2015, the popular Fitband that connects to these apps sold over 4.8 million health and fitness devices. Dietitian Cammie McMillan says some people need that little push.
They want to look good. They want to make sure they're doing everything right, and it really gives them that encouragement to make better choices, to be more active.
Whether you're looking to lose a few pounds or just start better eating habits, the power is in the palm of your hand. In addition to Lose at MyFitnessPal, other popular fitness apps available for your smartphone are Calorie Counter and Diet Tracker, Food UK, and My Diet Diary.
Thanks, Garrett. Now that the WVU basketball season is over, some big changes are coming to the Coliseum.
Sports reporter Robbie Devitt tells us about the upcoming renovation plans.
I'm Robbie Devitt, and coming up next on WVU News, I'll tell you about the big changes being made to the Coliseum both inside and out.
Every journey starts with a first. How will you go first?
Milan Pushkar Football Stadium is not the only WVU athletic facility that will be undergoing changes.
That's right, Jordan. Sports anchor Robbie Devitt is here to tell us more on the story. Robbie, what can we expect?
Well, Brooke, in March, renovations began over at the Coliseum. The plan's estimated cost is $15 million. These renovations will make game days more exciting for every WVU fan. Since the Coliseum opened its gates in 1970, renovations will be made for the first time since 2008. The Coliseum renovations estimated costs are nearly $20 million over a 2-year span. The first phase has already begun. That will increase the number of restrooms from the current 62 to nearly 150 total fixtures to be in use by November 2016. In a press conference, WVU Athletic Director Shane Lyons said there will also be changes to the number of seats available.
Part of Phase 2 will be the ADA seating. And currently we're at 42 ADA seating, and we go to over 164 seats in Phase 2.
While the blue and gold gates will keep their names, the green gate will be now known as the Mountaineer Gate, and the red gate will be renamed the Country Roads Gate. Concession stands will include Mountaineer Cafe, Wild and Wonderful Canteen, Country Roads Pit Stop, and Almost Heaven Bistro.
Now that we're adding the restrooms, the points of sale, we will be moving forward with the general public of selling beer.
Other renovations include standalone weight room and training room with estimated costs around $5 million.
Athletic training rooms, currently we're at 2,100 square foot. That all doubles in size as well, more than doubles to roughly 4,700 square feet for our Olympic sports.
All of the renovations to the Coliseum are expected to be finished and ready to go in January of 2017. In addition, the Shell building will also receive around $5 million in renovations as part of the project. Jordan and Brooke, back to you.
Thanks, Robbie. Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of WVU News. You can visit us online at our website.
You can also watch any of our shows on YouTube, and please follow us and our reporters on Twitter. I'm Brooke Chaplin.
And I'm Jordan Kramer. Thanks for watching WVU News. We'll see you next time.